Hey everyone, it's me, Ruby Collins, and I really had to talk about this, and I know it's going to be kind of personal, but thank goodness we don't share. We're not even on the same Facebook, so it's my friend. He's my friend, boyfriend. I always say he's my friend, Life goes in circles. That means if you're here today, sorry, you're here today, gone tomorrow. We come into each other's, people come into your space in your life to hopefully enhance your life, make it better, to add something to it, and then we move on. So that's what friends are for. That's what relationships are for. Hopefully it's helping you and not hurting you. So that's what we have here. But sometimes the things that I see in this person makes me wonder. And what I'm wondering about today is that my friend, who is half black and half Amerindian, that's Indian, he really kind of identifies with, the black side of him, because remember, once you have a little black in you, it's like you're black. We had a discussion, and there are times when things come up, and he would make certain statements or comments about things, and I have to say to myself, does he know what takes place in this country? He's from Guyana, and he's been in this country for about maybe 4 years. Very talented. As you can see, he's done a lot here at my place, my co-op. We renovated the bathroom, kitchen. He's done a lot of work for me, so I'm grateful for that. However, certain things, when people make comments, it tells you a lot about how they think and who they are. And, before you make a decision or a choice to marry someone for a lifetime, you got to think about all of these things. Do you, accept it and accept that person for who they are and really just ignore the things that kind of irks you about them? Or do you address it and hopefully you're not going to change them, but you hope to kind of educate them? And maybe that's what I'm on. And what that means and what I'm talking about is that I'll give you an example. Today, now we've often talked about black history and, slavery and, the system and the government and, how difficult it is for blacks and of this country, African Americans who, are part of this system here that's really not designed for them. And we have to really make really incredible strides to allow things to work in our favor, or you just work for the system. You get up every day, you go to work for the system, you get paid just enough to pay your bills, and you work hard enough so that you won't get fired, right? And really, that's it. You will never become rich, and that is why I left the police department, because I realized if I stay here, I'm not really developing my skills, my talents, my abilities. And that means that when I was there, I never knew how to play any instruments at all. I was just a singer. And it wasn't until I left that I became musically, tapped into my musical ability, which I didn't even know I had. And now I play 9 to 10 instruments. Well, we know what takes place in this country. And it's not easy for an African American, for a black person, period. Nevertheless, so as, him being new into the country, we met, we talked about, this is like when we first met, and certain things that, for example, he had to, when he came to this country, he needed to have an OSHA test. He didn't know how to do it. I helped him go about getting an OSHA card or qualification. And when you work in construction, you need to have an OSHA card. So that was done. And as a result, we ended up becoming closer, and we became, more as friends, and the relationship grew, and we found we had certain things in common. It was nice, and it was pleasant. And then, however, he would speak and say things, for example, I think I said for example before, but today he said something like, he works for this company. He's been working there for a couple of years. They had a situation, the company had to go, I forgot what they call it, but they take a break and then they come back, sort of thing. Nevertheless, it's a pretty decent job. They have benefits, great benefits. They have holidays, paid holidays, weekends off, and it's construction. Well, they're actually build mods. They build mods for the Barclays Center. And because of his skills, he's able to, get that job. However, the guy who actually hired him is a gentleman who does all the hiring for the company. A majority of the hiring, or half, I don't know, I think it's he and another partner, but they are responsible for hiring the people. And he happened to meet my friend because he knew somebody, and this guy showed up at his house to help his dad out, and he gave him his business card. He says, "Wait a minute." I said, "Ask him if he can hook you up with a job. It looked like he works for, a construction company." He did. Sure enough, the guy hooked him up. Not only did he got him a job, but he also got his son a job. So both of them are working at this spot here, this location. And I think that is he's so fortunate. He's so blessed to be able to come into this country and be able to occupy a space like that and, land a job like that when so many people here in this country who born here are still looking for work, have been employed. Maybe they're not employed anymore for whatever reason, and they're looking for work. What he says now, my friend says, well, look, I just came into this country and I have a job. And people who born here don't have a job and still looking for work and all these things that he implies or he says. And when he says this, I'm saying to myself, does he not know the history of this country? It's no excuse on African Americans, on black people. It's no excuse that we cannot try to get a job. But I'm not even going to go into it in this video. You just need to go and do your own research and go look and understand what I'm saying, which I know you're not anyway, but I'm going to tell you whatever I want to tell you and as much as I can and not make this video too long. But he said that he got his job based on Jah. He's Rasta, so he goes, "Oh, well, I'm Ras, and I believe in Jah, and Jah helped me out, and yes, I have a job, and those people don't have a job, and that's their problem. I don't feel no way for them because I am the man for the job, because I am skilled, I am talented, he's skilled, he knows his trade. But in order to get this job, you don't even have to know or have a skill. Well, I wouldn't say you have to have a skill or a trade, but there's on-the-job training where he's at. I remember at one point I was telling the guy, well, tell him to hook me up. I'd like to work there too and get a job because I'm like, this little tomboy. I like to do little jobs like that. But, of course, I was too busy anyway. I have my own stuff going on. Nevertheless, when he said that he came here, he has this job, he got this job, and people who don't have a job and they've been here longer than him, and in a sense where he's saying he's better because he's so talented, and and not because of, well, I don't want to say it's a black or brown or white thing because he's a black guy, even though he looks Spanish or Indian, and he's black. It's not. He was saying it's not because of who. Anyway, the main thing is that I said, first of all, you have to understand that you got this job based on your privilege of knowing someone. You knew someone, so someone made a phone call for you and got you the position. He is in denial. He wants to deny it, deflect the answer or deflect the situation, saying, well, I'm talented, that's why I got the job. Whereas I'm telling you, in order to get this job, they would have hired me. Actually, the guy told me, I'd love to hire you because they want more women. They would teach me on-the-job training. Who can't wrap a mod or build a mod? Just show me what to do and you do it. But my thing is that he talks as if, he is so much better than the next man who's not employed, who doesn't have the same skill, where it doesn't mean that you have to have the skill. You don't have to have the skill. You can learn on-the-job training. So we had that little discussion, that debate this morning, and it just kind of really just kind of got to me that he would make those type of comments, and it makes me realize that he doesn't understand. he doesn't really understand. He's still thinking, or he just wants to ignore or avoid it. It's called privilege. I said, wait, and I had to give him an example. When I was in the police department, I had some issues out in the street. I was one of those cops who, I wanted to make sure that the job was done, but I wanted to make sure that everyone was respected. And what the police department taught me about not escalating situations, but de-escalating a situation, that's who I was. When I was out in the street, I de-escalated situations. I didn't want things to get out of hand, and that was the kind of cop I am. And that's how they trained me. But as a result of me handling situations and de-escalating things, it caused a problem with my colleagues. And it just got really ugly. So there was one time where, I was just really stressed out. I needed to get off the street because it was ridiculous. I couldn't understand what was going on. I didn't like it. And that's why I liked to work alone. And then I made a phone call. I had a connection. That's my privilege of knowing someone that hooked me up, took me off the street, and put me inside to work as a teacher, teaching the DARE program. Weekends off, Monday through Friday. And I'm not going to say no, it was just because I knew how to teach, that's why I got the position. No, I didn't have to know how to teach. I never even taught before. But they needed people in that position, and I made a phone call, and they were like, yo, if you're having a problem, okay, we'll put you here. And I told them where I wanted to go, and that's what they did. So I'm trying to explain this to him, letting him know I once had a privilege, too, where I was able to make a phone call and get the position. But this dude here is really, kind of scary to me. I'm not really... Someone could think like that. It's only, it's me and Ja hooked me up, and I don't know about them other people out there. They probably, they don't know the job. They don't know the job. They have to do it this way. I'm like, what? Are you serious? And I said, you know what? The only reason why I'm having this discussion with you is because I want to practice. I want to practice my vocabulary. I want to speak, because one day I'm going to be giving speeches. One day I'm going to be speaking for millions of people, and I need to practice. So you are going to be my practicing. Yeah, you're going to be the person that I practice on. So that's the only reason why I'm even engaging in this conversation with you right now. Because you're just really out to lunch, and I'm not going to waste my energy trying to convince you of what takes place in this country while I had you watch all these videos and you understand what takes place in this country. And you should think differently. You're not thinking about you being better than the next man. You're thinking about, well, okay, because our society does not really, is not a system that's designed for the Black African-American person, that, we got to kind of work together and help one another out the best way we can. As opposed to saying, I'm better, he doesn't know, and blah, 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 whatever you're saying. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, okay, I just wanted to share that. That was on my mind. Love you all. Hey, guys, don't forget to go check out my channel, Ruby Collins TV, for more conversations like this. More about what I do, and musically I'm an artist. I have a show coming up in a couple of days. Hopefully I get to record that. You get to see that too. Teaching children music, that's what I'm about. I remember when I first learned, I was thinking of going outside of the community to help everybody else. I said, wait a minute. Our schools in this community does not have music. I'm going to stay right here and make sure I give back to my community. And that's why I'm still here. Well, not why I'm still here, but that's why I teach music, and I love it. I would do it for free if I could use my free ability to pay my bills. But I don't, so visit me at www.ruby.rc Music Place. RC Music Place. If you want to learn to play an instrument, or maybe join the rest of us musicians and help others and teach others. All right, love you all. Gotta go.